Hello everyone, I'm 41 Solstice 25 at Winter Solstice 8. And those beacons weren't here last time I was here. What are those? Hmm. Goddamn neighbors. Why people feel the magic need to just go all out with colors like this. Okay, who's responsible for this one? Am I lagging? I must be lagging. Hmm. But why all the colors? I don't mind beacons, but why all these random assortments of colors? Why is this necessary? But anyway, I'm getting way off topic. So this is something I've been up to lately. In fact, this has been probably 2.5 weeks in the making. Speaking of which, I need to break some of these floating above here. Let's actually do that right now. I feel like they give away too much. Actually, they don't really give away much at all, really. But this is a map I wasn't asked to make this. Yeah. I'm just getting very tongue-tied. I offered to make this. So this is going to become sort of like a minigame kind of map. More of like a plug-in based minigame map. This is not going to be downloadable, unfortunately. But you can technically kind of visit it on the Storm servers, creative server net. Like you could always like visit here and like whatever. I mean like here's the chords, or alternatively I think you could just go like north or something. Which way was it? Okay, so it's like, yeah, it's north. You essentially go north from directly north from spawn, and you should run up to it eventually. Which is essentially going up on the Z coordinate. So yeah, that's basically how you get here to take a look at this for yourself. Now, as I kind of mentioned, I was looking into how to make cubes. Now, this is actually where I kind of started trying to figure out how to make cubes. But that's a little offset from that. That's kind of a problem for making this considerably correct, especially when that's on top from there. So yeah, there are definite flaws in this cube-like design. Quite more notable than the previous thing I kind of shown. But this is supposed to be sort of like a laboratory. It is pretty cool. I'm quite proud of myself for this one. Like, it looks very nice. It is very nicely put together, and I'm not just praising myself about it. Like, by all means, there are a few spots I think could kind of bother me because of how plain there are, but there's nothing really I can do to help that. Other than that, a lot of stuff is kind of cool the way I set it up. So I'm not going to spill the beans of what this is about yet. It's actually probably going to be a little while before the server owner kind of gets to this. Like, it's going to be a lot of things to sort out in code and such, so it's one thing at a time. So it's either work on this, or it's making other things happen and more for an actual player base to be going on about besides one little thing. It's like you gotta weigh in your options a little. So yeah, there is a lot of interest to this, and it's going to be kind of cool. But I will say this, it's going to be survival based. There's going to be places you can go to and places you can't go to. And I had all kinds of fun throwing this together. So some of the big things I had to sort out when it comes to throwing this together. One big thing, where can players go to? Now, they can basically go almost anywhere around this place. But there is some means of limitation. Actually, I meant to put signs on this side. Let's actually do that right now. Now I'll show you how fast I can manage to put signs up. And that's actually real-time speed. I'm not clipping or anything. So what I do is I put down the sign and then I just press escape. And it's really quick and it leaves the sign blank. And instead of pressing this done button, you can just press escape and you'll be just straight up out of it. And it really shortens up the process. And yeah, so another thing I've been trying to do is set kind of like more environment and places to go to, as well as visual appeal and interest, and as well as some amounts of challenge and intimidation. So yeah, I've looked around this place, I've added things, and I've tried to prevent things in the design and setup. Like, I wanted to make sure zombies or whatever could get to the player no matter what, essentially. And I even talked about it with the server owner, and he was helping me come up with, like, ideas of what could probably be done, and I was, like, telling him my ideas on what his suggestions were to, like, what could probably be improving it or simplifying the equation, like how to prevent players from staying in one location and just essentially camp it out. Like, I don't know about anyone else, but I think that's kind of bullshit when a player does that. Like, it's a little too cheap, it's a little less adventurous, and it's like a little less risk taking. So what we came up with is that the player might be harassed by mobs if they try to camp an area, which I would say is going to be a good thing, because it'll mean they can't be just hanging out in one area and hope the mobs will just never get to them or something. Like certain areas, like over there, we kind of want it to where slimes will spawn on the player and little slimes will actually grow and stuff. But what I disagreed with on that idea is that if it's going to be like a little slime growing at a player, the player could just essentially knock the slime off of a thing and it'll just never get to the player and they can just still kind of camp it out. So I suggested, how about a medium slime? It'll automatically hurt the player. I am mean that way, by the way. Like, I will actually look into some of the meaner suggestions to make things kind of happen. Oh, you see nothing. Also, I think we actually missed a room this way. So yeah, there's all kinds of stuff here and there. And it's really getting into the progress and works. Okay then. But yeah, that's actually a bug to the server, spawning on the server or whatever. We don't know why that happens, but if it's like the first time you're on the server, you essentially fall out of the world. Personally, I assume somehow Cookie Mage made that happen when Riot probably just dropped him out of the world. It's like a thing Riot likes to do. He likes to pick on Cookie Mage. And Cookie Mage has been one of the more, among us, more newer sort of staff-like members to the server. So yeah, there is that. But I don't think that's actually the case. I think they just never fixed the actual world spawn or something. Or maybe they left some kind of gap at the actual spawn below and it somehow is affected by that. I have no idea. But yeah, there is things to find around and about that are to help you. And ultimately, I think it'll be an interesting survival experience. And personally, I'm hoping to see this in action with 1.9, which is going to be out pretty soon. I don't know how many other people are excited about that, but I personally am very excited about that. Because it means all kinds of things that are going to happen, and it would mean that this kind of thing could be a little more simplified in mobs running around making things difficult, and it could be essentially more simplified in terms of mobs running around, but still fairly difficult, is what I'm hoping for. In which case that'll make this a lot less resource using and such. And that's not possible to get on those, by the way. Like, I've actually tested this. Like, if I could make it, I essentially made it go up one more. Like, I've tested all the little camping spots. The one spot that might happen is probably this one, actually. Actually, I could fix that with a pretty quick little fix here. I'm surprised I actually didn't even notice this one. Take that, people. You think you can just get away with things with me around? Oh, no, no, no. I need to see your suffering. I need your tears. I need to drink your tears. I need that salty, teary sorrow on my tongue. But yeah, we've been working up all kinds of ideas. I've pitched out a lot of suggestions and put this entire place together myself, and actually I basically tossed it together by hand, minus the trees and what's outside. By outside I mainly mean this grass. Like, that part was world edited, and everything else though is actually by hand. I'm surprised I actually considered doing it by hand. Or at least for a few things. Like, some of it, it's a little flat, but at the same time, it's a little bit of like a delicate procedure that I guess I would rather do it by hand, personally. I don't know about anyone else. But yeah, I made the looks of the place kind of flashy. I made all kinds of little extra rooms to wander into, take a look, and also kind of add some sensibility to this design, to the altogether facility, like offices and stuff, and maybe a few collapsed places and few trashed areas where zombies or whatever can get in and try to kill you and eat your brains and scatter your guts all around. I don't know. And of course, like a few little areas where you can sort of unlock alternate routes to, where you don't have to, you know, take the same routes and same kind of danger ways to a location. And also, this is, I want to say this should be the spawn. This is what I'm intending to become the spawn. And I want players to have to work to be able to rip this wall, this door down, essentially, as like an alternate route to the area back there. And essentially, areas like this and like this, I really want things to come out of to sort of force you to have to pass by them and risk your neck. Because there's no thrill unless there's a little danger in it. And I think that'll make it a little more interesting, a little more fun, and a little more of taking risks and stuff, and, you know, just getting a little more in the spirit of things, you know? Just like a little less of try to win and a little more of, oh man, we're doing this, come on, don't give up guys, keep moving, bad things will happen if we stop moving, and stuff like that. I think it'll be pretty entertaining. Like, personally, I would want to see people try it out, see what they have to say about it. But yeah, this is not going to be downloadable because I want it to be kind of more server specific. When I make something as a gift, I usually like, or as like a dedication sort of thing, I usually like to treat it like a gift, more treasured, more special and unique. Special, spectacularly unique. Special, specially special, 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 special. So yeah, not like some baseball card you're gonna trade off. So that's most of that. So I guess let's talk a little more about what this place is. It's essentially a lab facility dedicated to try. It's basically like a research facility to make something, like some kind of invention, maybe some kind of product on a lower scale budget. And this area is going to be like is more along this specific giant room is along the lines of looking into how to situate it. Oh, I was like, why am I hearing the noise? It really blends in with the block. And maybe like this would be like just like getting closer, getting further away or something, and all other chemical stuff, just like tying things together and combining materials in a specific way and order and at certain temperatures to meet in particular states to infuse or form compounds in the correct way and form and or be potentially less dangerous. Like that's basically how most of those kinds of devices actually are in a chemistry lab, I believe. So like there'd be tubes specifically to give a specific kind of time and sets amount of pressure and weight to a certain kind of density of sorts. Like it's actually very clever how they situate it all. Like I never actually got to get a real look at it and like question about it, but I have from high school. I remember the chemistry lab, and we've gotten to mess around with that stuff. But that's kind of like the generic bit, isn't it? But moving on, I guess the areas over here are to sort of rework the theorization of working with some of these said chemicals and chemical monstrosities being set together in sorts. This door is specifically for mobs to just hop over. I really did not mean for this part though. I might actually fix that after this video. I also wanted mobs to fall out of these just to make the player watch their back more. And something I would like is for something to drop out of here every now and then just to mix things up. Just be like, oh my god, it's on my face! And in here, one of the big things I personally want in here is spiders and zombies. Zombies throughout the entire map just about, and spiders in here particularly. Then in here, I want skeletons. Like, oh, I could get to these higher locations, but oh no, this foe can actually shoot me, and I probably can't shoot it back. Now, something I've been talking to the server owner about, since he's like the one doing all the server code at this time being. There's like no alternate coders or anything of that sort. So I personally want like random potential loot chests about, or a chance of a random loot chest in various rooms, and it would encourage players to go to these kinds of crazier locations where they are much more likely to get themselves hurt at. And that's half the idea to that, basically. So this room is going to be like a parts assembly room. They're going to take some of the mixed alchemical product and use it as components to create whatever is what I had in mind for this. Or even they would come up with their own little small additions and tools for future use for whatever later on to help them make other stuff. That's the idea, and this is basically the machine that put it all together, and that's like the it's basically where the materials go. It's like kind of like a bag or a dump or something. You know, I just realized that kind of thing would probably take a lot of cleaning or needing of a lot of different variant sections. So this is basically a vent. So one of my ideas to how the zombies or whatever get through it is through the vents. And this is like a generator room. And these buttons actually do stuff, but they don't do anything actually. Like they trigger stuff, but that doesn't do anything for the player at all at this time. I don't know if we're going to maybe try considering doing anything with that or not. But moving on. So all those vents and stuff is going to go here. Now I consider this to be like a purification room. A room dedicated to purifying, nullifying hazardous materials that go through the air or whatever, and basically turns it more breathable and safe and stuff. And if it ever gets bad, there's like the safety room here. Employees can like wash their hands or whatever. And there's mirrors. Some of you are going to be thinking, why are the mirrors green? Fun fact, mirrors actually are green. Like, if you actually have like a room with like two mirrors looking into each other, over like further on in the reflections of each other, you will see the color green. That is a true fact. So on top, I really did put some thought into this whole place. Like, for authenticity's sake, I thought I would work on like some kind of a power thing. So what I did is I threw together some solar panels up top, and I've assumed that is a good step actually to bring some authenticity to this. So this is going to be like the record room where records on like staff and like health records are on at and such. So it's an important room to that kind of sense. And this is like the health center area. Make sure staff are exactly how they need to be. I realized my mistake on that thought. Players can still jump up on that. Let's actually I'm thinking no. Ooh, better yet. I got this. Nailed it. Did I ever put anything inside of it? Oh, yes, I did. So this is like the emergency area. This is like a scanning device. Check if everything is okay with the staff member. Up here is like another sort of emergency area. And like I've left kind of little small details like this lying around for like whatever I would assume a medical personnel would probably be doing, like distilling things, comparing this to that, checking for this, checking for that, checking blood samples, or even what's it called? Sterilizing stuff like syringes and stuff like that. Yeah, moving on. There's only a few more rooms actually to go over. Because this is just a hallway. There's nothing special about it besides like the pluses in it that you're not going to see anywhere else. Now obviously this is the reception area. If you couldn't figure it out, it's a reception area. Like they check your identification, make sure you're permitted to go any further in this facility. Because there's probably some things you're probably not supposed to just mess around with or screw around with. So they want to make sure you're someone official. And this is like the CEO office kind of thing. I guess they don't really need another thing for like their assistant. Their assistant could probably be like right here or something. Or probably be looking all over the place, keeping track of things and reporting back. And this is essentially a closet. The starter room itself is actually essentially a closet. Like I would imagine maybe like a few random extra supplies would be around or stuff. I was thinking this would probably be like some tarp or something. But yeah, that's basically the whole facility in a nutshell and explained. I couldn't really think of anything else to include. Maybe like a boiler room and restrooms would have been ideal, but I could actually say it was probably crushed in this or something. But at the same time, you would think there'd be like more restrooms, but you know what? It's actually quite fine as it is. Like, we do science here. We don't do pee here. Ain't nobody got time for that. Scientific advice with Solstice, you guys. Like, ain't nobody got time to pee. Ain't nobody got time to poop. Like, we don't got no anus. Who are you kidding? All we need in our lives is science. We need science, we need numbers. We need all the numbers. We need buttons. Press every button, step on every panel. I need it all. This is why I internet. But no, that's actually probably a decent reason to internet, but anyway. I think that basically wraps most of this up. The only thing I actually didn't really talk about is this up here, which is at the entrance. This is, I would describe this as a security station. And clearly there's been some mishaps here. And there's like some trees around here. I think it was a pretty good idea. It added a bit more atmosphere around here. I think it livened up the place a pretty decent amount. So, also this room was a storage room. I forgot to mention that part. But I also wanted to say it's also kind of like a gardening area for like the company to manage the area around it to make sure it's up to code, make sure it's safe and secure. There's no leaks, no this and that. Make sure everything is a-okay. Like, it seems like a pretty ideal thing to me. I guess ideally I could have ran like a little walkway going up to like the front or something for like the emergency exit, but it's not very necessary. Like, players aren't actually going to be going around this part ever. So yeah, there's that. I just had the random feeling of need to include random stuff like this, just for my own personal need of atmosphere, and feeling a little more in the groove in adding things in. So that's how that is. And this also kind of like closes off the extra outside view from inside the map. I have considered maybe adding like buildings or something in, but at the same time, I feel it's not very necessary, and it's, when I thought about it, I was like, what would these buildings be for? Like, what are these buildings for? We already have the office and records and stuff. Like, what else do we need these massive buildings for? I mean, come on. Like, is it a super office? Is that some kind of bigger company expansion, and this is just some portion of it, and the real bigger business is over that way, paying for some of the smaller funds and such? I have no idea. Like, when you think about it, this kind of stuff, it helps you kind of tie it in together more realistically and a little more interesting, I would say. Like, I would say, actually, like, looking into what some of these fields are actually like, it actually opens your eyes to a lot more to potential in design and such of this stuff. So, if you ever, like, wanted to make this kind of things, that's actually a great way to learn how to work on that. Like, actually look into how the real things are put together. But of course, it's a little more custom in this case. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm 41 Solstice 25, and have a good day. Bye bye.